Hello, so in today's tutorial we are going to look at how to use Excel to generate some descriptive statistics and even produce some simple graphs using some data that you may have collected during the laboratory. This is that data sheet that I helped provide for you for your control group and your experimental group for your seed germination and growth studies. And so the top of the table there is for your control, and you could have had up to about 10 replicates, which I recommended somewhere between 5 and 10. More is better, but after 10, you're going to have too many things to keep track of, plus studying for lecture and lab material, so not more than 10. So hopefully at 5 or more. There's a space up here, and the column titles tell you the units, the radical length, and then it gives a space for how many hours. For most, I recommended 3 days, which is 72 hours, but if you were using larger seeds, you may have needed more time. It doesn't matter as long as you record all of the seed data at one time. Now remember, you had replicates with many seeds in there, and to collect this data, you were supposed to select one seedling at random so that you are not purposely picking the biggest or the smallest, because it's human nature to even subconsciously create bias that way. So you would figure out a way to pick one at random from there, take it out, and then measure it. That way it represents a random sample from your replicates. And you're supposed to do radical, which is the embryonic root, and then shoot length at that time for both your control group and your experimental group. Remember, it's only one seedling from each of the bags or replicates that you produced. So anyway, what I did was I transferred the setup of this table to an Excel sheet. So you're going to see these tables side by side. So you'll have to do that on your own. I didn't want to do this here as part of the video because it would take time. So here you can see this table here is for the control group. It's got C on that left column there, and the one on the right is for the experimental group. And I do have some sample data that I used when I ran an experiment testing compounds on seedling growth and germination. In this case, this is just the growth data taken at 72 hours. And I only had 7 replicates. So this would have been the 6th replicate and the 7th replicate. And I actually don't need for my data set. If you did up to 10 replicates, you would need those extras. So I'm going to get rid of these just by highlighting those cells. Left click and delete, and they're gone. And so what I've done was here on the side, I put an N for N equals. That's the sample size. So I was grading the lab exam 1. And the students were having trouble with sample size. Sample size is just how many values you have. It's not the sum or the total. I have 7 values. The sample size would be 7. So you can go ahead and just type a 7 in there. But let's say you have a real large data set. You can use Excel as a function. Tell me how many cells have values in there, and you put equals and then count. Okay. And so that would be the count function right here. You can double click on there, and now it's telling you, asking you what cells. So you would highlight the cells you want to count for, and then you can close the parentheses, or you're done with that formula, just hit enter. You're going to just hit enter, and it gives you the count number right there. What's great about this is that now you can copy that. So you can do Control-C, that copies that cell, then move to the cell you want to copy that formula for, and it'll do it for the next column. And you can see up at the top, it tells you that it's adding for this one when you click in there. For the next one, if I go up there, it just shifted that same calculation down this way. So now I can go and do that for my experimental group too. In each cell, just highlight the cells. You can point and drag to highlight, and then paste the values in there, and it counts for you. Okay, so you get the count done, right? And let me go ahead and highlight these cells so that it's easier for us to see. And let me make the grid so we can see each cell clearly. Okay, so the gray area is the calculations. Okay. Now for the mean is just the average. And we want to make sure your calculations are done without error. So this way you make sure, first of all, you typed in your data correctly. Oh, and when you report your data, you need to tell me or the reader of your poster that you're going to put together to make sure you've recorded this for yourself as a reminder. This is part of your data notebook, your lab notebook, your field book, wherever you're keeping your information. You put records of this. So it's 72 hours. So when you write down your methods, you say you're going to let the seeds grow, germinate for 72 hours before you do this measurement. You tell me, the reader, who wants to know how you did your experiment, how to do this. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but for the mean. And for the mean, it's not mean. The formula is you always hit equals first, and then you type in average. Okay, I could already see it on the list there, so I can go and pick it, double click on it, and then I'm just going to highlight the cells. Careful not to highlight the gray where it says N. You're just going to highlight your data values. So there should only be 7 highlighted there. And you hit equals, and it gives you your mean for it automatically. And now you can go and copy that in each of the cells. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do all the other calculations first and then copy all the formulas at once, and your data analysis is done. It's amazing. So remember that S stands for standard deviation, and standard deviation basically compares, it's a way of figuring out what the average difference is for all of these. It's a fancy calculation. You use a table to do it, and you should know how to do it for yourself because I might ask you to do it on lab exam again. Okay, and the more different each of these individual values are to the mean, the bigger the standard deviation would be, and that tells us there's more variation in your sample. It turns out there's a real easy way to do it here on Excel. All you're going to do is hit equals, and you're going to start typing in ST, and I can already see the formulas there. There's, on the second one on the list, it's ST for standard and then D for deviation dot P. That's not the one you're going to use. You're going to use standdev.s. Okay, that's for a sample. You only use P if you have all the possible values you can get, and there's no way we can run this experiment infinite number of times. So it's a sample. And there's a slight difference in the formula. So make sure you pick stdev.s for this one. And so I've clicked that there, and then I go and I highlight that same data, those same 7 values, and then hit enter, and there's my standard deviation. So my mean for the sample is 31.6. My standard deviation is 3.5 roughly if we round it. Okay. Now, that's what you always report these basic descriptive statistics, and you want to make sure you don't report all the decimals. So you're going to want to make sure you round. Okay. Always round to one place past the original data set was recorded to the nearest one. So here we're rounding to the 10th place. Now, the significance test that you're supposed to run. It involves your ability for each group, right? And so you're doing this for the radical and for the shoot length. So for each group, you're supposed to compare the range of the mean plus or minus 1/2 the standard deviation. When you plus, that gives you the high value. When you minus, that gives you the low value. Okay? So all I got to do right now is figure out what is half of my standard deviation. So for this cell here, which is 1/2 S, I'm going to put equals, and I can type in 1/2, or 1/2 is the same as 0.5. So I'm just going to put 0.5, and I'm going to multiply that by my standard deviation, and that gives me what half of the standard deviation is. And let me go ahead and reduce the number of decimal places there. So half of my standard deviation is about 1.7. Okay. Now, that's what this part or this term in the equation is. 1/2 the standard deviation for this data set right here. Okay. For the radical, this is radical length. We haven't done shoot length, and this is for the control. Is 1.7. Now what do? We're going to add that to the mean, and then we're going to subtract that from the mean because it's the mean plus or minus 1/2 the standard deviation. This is going to give us a range to compare to that for the experimental group. This is our experimental group over here. Those are the E's right here. Okay, we have a 6 and a 7 over here. And so we're going to do that. And so all I got to do is I'm going to do equals, and I'm going to take the mean, and I'm going to put a plus, and I'm going to add the 1/2 standard deviation, what's in that cell. And that gives me my high value, which is 33.3. To get the low value, you're going to take the mean, and then hit the minus sign, and then make sure, again, it's 1/2 the standard deviation, not S. And that gives you your low value there. Okay? So, can I do this quickly for the other radical length over here? For the experimental, all I got to do is highlight all of those cells, Control C to copy, or you can left click. You can see now there's little line going around all the cells. I'm going to come over here to that first cell, and then I just Control V and it pastes the values. And you can see that my values are actually smaller. So whatever I was testing in this case, it could have been salt. I actually tested some plant compounds on the other one I extracted from another plant. So instead of using salt or something else, I cut up another kind of plant species and put it in water and got compounds out of the plant, and then put that on my experimental group to see if it would have an effect. And the sample size is the same. The mean is 3.9. It looks much smaller than the mean for this one. Here's my standard deviation. Here's the 1/2 standard deviation, and there's the high value and the low value. So now you've calculated this. And that's for the radical length. You can also do this for your shoot lengths. So I still have that information copied, so I'm just going to Control V to paste it there, and Control V to paste there. And what I've got is I have all of the calculations done in seconds. It actually took longer for me to explain it than to do this. Okay, so you can always go back to this video. You can slow down, and you can see what formulas I used here, and then it's just a matter of copying and pasting. But you have to set up your table where you have all of your values. So and I set it up the same way that data sheet was right here. So I hope this helps. It should speed up and make sure that you don't have any errors in your calculations.